Welcome to Tabletop Gaming Guild Show. Tabletop Gaming Guild's all about the memories and experience that playing tabletop games with friends and family can create. On this episode, we're going to be talking about anthropomorphic animals in games. But before we get to our main topic, we're going to talk about what we've been playing. And since I'm on a roll, I'm going to go ahead and just start with what I've been playing. Now, I actually played a lot of smaller games this last couple weeks for reviews and stuff, but a couple ones that I wanted to highlight was Wonder Tales. Wonder Tales is actually a really good game from Button Shy. And Wonder Tales is a two-player game where you're going to be doing this sort of push and pull of placing down these cards, and they have to be in a certain pattern. And all these cards have two sides. One's a red and one's a blue side. One player plays the good guys, which is blue, and one player plays the red, which is bad. When you place these cards down, they're going to care about who's adjacent to them and whatnot for scoring points. And the same card that's either blue or red, the opposite player is going to get the color of their side and put it down. So they'll have three cards, draw one, pick one, put it out. So if you think like Seven Wonders, where you have a certain set of pattern that you have to make, but this in Seven Wonders you're deconstructing it. In Wonder Tales you're constructing it. Yes. And at the end of the round, the player with the most points will win that round. The player that wins best 2 out of 3 wins. Each round has a different player start. So blue player, the good player, plays on the first round, starts. Second round, red. Third round is blue. The cool thing about this game is tie breaking. So tie breaking in the first 2 rounds, red wins. In the last round, blue wins. There's a lot of really cool stuff to this. It's a really fun, easy 2-player game that you could just sit down and play at the end of a night. So I really liked Wonder Tales. And I got a little tiny expansion for it too. It gives asymmetric powers, so just light asymmetric powers to it. Another Button Shy game that I like was called Space Shipped. So not much for the name, but it is a really, really fun game. And I got a couple expansions for this, but it's an 18-card game where you're playing against the AI solo. And you're trying to get 3 of these crystals, xenocrystals or whatever, before the Marauders do. Or 2 of them, sorry. You're trying to get 2 of them before they do. And it's sort of like you have 3 planets that are out, and they have like an encounter, a planet-side encounter, and then you mark it. And those things will trigger. Then you can buy cards to build up your ship and your crew. And at the end of the round, all the cards shift around. If on the market row, which is where you can purchase and they all shift around, if a gem goes past, or xenocrystal, the Marauders will tick down and eventually they'll start taking them. So you're trying to get up enough credits to buy these crystals before your time runs out. Same simple, but it's a very puzzly game. And what's really cool with these is all the encounters are different on all the different 18 cards. So it adds a lot of variety to the game and a lot of different like cool events that happen and how you have to work with them. So out of Button Shy, those were my 2 definite favorites. Another game that I played that isn't out yet is Bonsai. Bonsai is a really fun game here by DV Games. DV Games sent us a bunch of different games, but this is the one that I've liked the most. The other ones I liked, but this one I really, really liked. It's a really cool, beautiful sort of looking game where you're going to be building your bonsai tree as time goes by. There's placement rules for these, and the scoring is very simple. Other than the goal cards that are out, you're going to be scoring basically for the fruit and the greenery and the flowers that you put out. So really nice game, very thinky because of how you have to place your wood, which becomes your tree itself. And that really affects of how you could put out these higher point scoring flowers and fruit. So I really, really like this game. I think this game is going to make it to the table a lot. The last game that I wanted to talk about that I've been playing is a game here, Unstable Unicorns. This one's Llamas on Leash. So if you played Unstable Unicorns, this game is pretty much the same idea. You're going to be playing wacky cards and trying to get up to 7 animals. It's based on player count. 7 different animals out. If you're the player to do it, you win. Players can put out llamas. They can put out rams. They can put out sheep. They can put out a couple different animals in here. Sheep is one of them. And there's cards that do like mean things to other players or themselves, help them out. So it was fun playing with my daughters. I've never played like a really light game like this before. So yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been playing. How about you, Nathan? What have you been playing?
I think you know the answer to that one.
Yeah, that's why I figured I'd go to Nathan, and then we could have like a meaningful discussion with Evan. So let's go ahead, Nathan. What have you been playing? Do tell. Does it start with Frost and end with Haven? And
it does. It does. We are very, very close to the end, and I'm actually kind of glad that we're close to the end. I mean, we've done over 100 hours at this point, and I think that's about enough.
Are you going to go back and finish Gloomhaven that you haven't finished?
I don't think so.
You're going to take a breather and play something different for once.
I think we need a breather, but unfortunately, it sounds like my breather might be another long, involved campaign. So we'll see.
What would that be?
Oh, I might end up playing Skulltail Full Sail next. I've been it's been on my shelf for a little while. It sounds really cool. It is a pirate game. It's a campaign game. It is a fully narrated story.
Oh, I like narrated. That way I don't have to talk. I like how
James likes to talk.
Yeah, I do like to talk, but not that much. I really liked how they did that with Forgotten Waters. I really like that that's fully narrated. At least I believe everything's fully narrated in that. At least everything that counts.
So that was
a good portion.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been playing, and that's spoilers for the next 3 months of what I've been playing.
Yeah. All right. So the Nathan's report's done. Let's go ahead and see what Evan's been up to, which is probably infinitely more interesting.
To someone that actually played other games. So one game I just recently did a review for and got a play of is Quest for the Trident. So it's a very, very, very small publisher. You can only get this through their Etsy page. But as a favor to that company, which is 2 guys, I believe, we reviewed now the second game that they put out. They don't get a lot of traffic, but I think we helped them out quite a bit while doing a review for their last game, Corpse Cat. But this one, Quest for the Trident, is a pirate-themed game where you are sailing the seas, trying to get Poseidon's trident and take it back to one of your hideouts. The game itself is not bad. The component quality is pretty good, much like the other one. Like, you could take these cards and play it underwater. It's really nice. Plus the case that it comes in is really good. Its rules are honestly this, so you can teach somebody how to play the game within 3 minutes and go. Not a bad little game, and for cost wise, what you get, it's not bad at all.
We really need to try that at some point. Getting a game like that and just actually playing it underwater.
You could do that with, what was that called? From Chip Theory Games.
Not Too Many Bones.
Too Many Bones. Yes, you could play Too Many Bones underwater. It had neoprene mats and it had the discs were plastic. So we could do an underwater game series that I would probably die in, but that's okay.
You have to have pretty strong lungs to play Too Many Bones.
Well, yep, I'd be dead. All right.
The other game that I got to play, the wife and I got to play
Doomlings, yes. And that cover's really shiny too in the box.
So my wife sent this to me pre-Christmas because they had a very awesome ad campaign that was running on Facebook, Instagram, all the major social medias. And it caught her eye, especially with the lots of colors and whatnot. She loves multicolored, lots of color stuff. So it caught her eye. I was like, you know what? not expensive. I'll grab a copy of it and put it on the tree. Did that. It got lost into the shuffle of many things and only recently got pulled back out. So it was recently reviewed and stuff onto the channel. And the game itself, it's a card-based game that you are on a world that starts at the beginning of life, and then you're playing traits for your creature to give it different abilities, and it goes through different eras. And then there are 3 catastrophes that happen throughout the course of the game that kind of reset life. And at the third catastrophe, that's the end of the game. So, and then the cards that you play, you'll give your doomlings, like, you know, they'll have like spikes or pack mentalities and stuff like that. And then that'll affect how many cards you can have in your hand, and the game scoring, different abilities when you play them, what it will do. The game is super simple. You can learn it in 5 to 10 minutes pretty easily. And it's actually really, really fun. You can get a game, it's 2 to 6, I believe. Yeah, 2 to 6 people can play it. We played the first game learning the rules and then getting the game done probably in 30 to 40 minutes. And then we played it again probably in about 25. Really good. They just had a Kickstarter for a bunch more expanded content in it. It got well over $1 million. So it's very popular. It's got a very good following. And it's a light game that kind of fits differently than a lot of other card games that are in this space. So I think it's a really good game.
Yeah, I actually want to give that one a try. So unfortunately, can't make it to game day this time, but one of these times.
Oh yeah. It's one that I think I would honestly play it anytime somebody would want to play it. It's good.
All right, so that's what we've been playing. Now on to the news. So a couple news articles that were interesting one was Mattel Hasbro Inc. license pact to co-create toys and games. So this means like Hasbro will probably make, I would assume, Barbie games, and Mattel also has like Transformers, I think. So they'll make Transformer games. But I thought Hasbro already had a Transformer card game out, but I'm not sure if it was them or someone else that was licensed out to. I'm not really sure that this, like, Hot Wheels was another thing. They could make Hot Wheel games, so maybe that includes the Hot Wheels. But I mean, I don't have any hopes that there are any good games that will be coming
So
out.
the thought I had with that one, since I posted that article and we kind of discussed it, I mean, we're talking about 2 large juggernauts in the
toy
game-esque / toy world.
Yeah.
And we're talking about companies that have more money than anybody out there in this space. So I wonder if the collaboration is going to be the first step, and now they're going to start to acquire IP.
I don't know, maybe they already have a ton of IPs. I think that's correct. Where they'll probably try to get more IPs with this, like, and pull them in to cooperatively have stuff. I still don't think it's going to be anything good for the hobby industry necessarily. It's just going to be more junk. But we'll see.
I think it'll definitely be mass market focused.
Yeah, all mass market junk. So
and there was a Transformers card game, but it was by Renegade.
The one that was a CCG.
It was a deck builder, yeah. So I believe it was a CCG.
It had big Transformer cards and little Transformer cards, and it looked neat. And I sort of like Transformers, but I wasn't swayed enough to actually get that. So another piece of news that is interesting is Wizards of the Coast, along with all the other weird stuff they've been doing, so with their Summit junk that came out and everything else, they decided to go gangbusters on someone and call the Pinkertons to go and basically strong arm a YouTuber who happened to get an early release copy of the game from a store when they shouldn't have sold it to them, and released all of the 50 cards or whatever from that set that isn't due out until, I believe, May 12th. So Wizard of the Coast sent the Pinkertons out to regain their stolen property, took all those guys' magic cards, and left with the wife apparently crying because they said they were going to go to jail. So apparently they were very apologetic to this person afterwards, and they're going to send them product and whatnot. But oh man, it's just another horrible thing that Wizards of the Coast is doing.
And honestly, it sounds like it was a situation that the game store accidentally sent the wrong thing.
Yeah, and with the same identical names, and apparently like they don't really label their products properly, like saying like with an embargo or whatever date on them properly. They're just supposed to know from the invoices that are sent. It could easily, with two exact name products, could be happen.
And from what I heard too, that is the game store is not a large Magic volume like store, so not being putting out large amounts of that, I can easily see that it would be a huge mistake because it was like such and then such and such with an additional name afterwards. I can't even remember what the titles were, but like it's so close.
Yeah,
it's probably a simple mistake.
It brings up a topic too, is where Wizard of the Coast doesn't believe you own the cards that you purchased with your own money. So, I mean, at the point of purchasing it, it's a piece of cardboard with art on it. So I believe, like, I don't know how much legal rights that Wizards has to take this stuff back. Because ownership's like a fickle thing with that. A lot of people try to, like, with, you think about the DVDs and stuff where they're like, oh, you don't really own your movies, sort of thing, and never really panned out for that industry. It's probably not going to pan out for Wizards of the Coast if this gentleman wants to sue. I would assume that they would lose horribly.
Yeah, and I think that's why there was a big push there for a long time with their online portal, because then you really don't own anything because you only own it in the digital space. Yeah. So do you really own stuff at that point? You know,
I already like had negative opinions of Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro and all the shenanigans they did even before this. It just keeps reinforcing it. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think it won't affect Magic players because literally, even if they were murdering people, they would probably still play. So I don't think that like any amount of ethical violations that Wizards of the Coast may or may not do would matter too much, because a lot of MTGs basically printing money, so people are invested in that, and they very little care about like things like ethics. But yeah, I don't know. I was not happy to see something like that. I just think that's just horrible all around. But the other one is Hello Kitty's getting a board game? Really?
Yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, I was like, that's something people wanted. Or at least I didn't know. Hello Kitty's getting a new board game here from the folks. So that's Hello Kitty's getting a board game. Well, who cares? But it's from the folks behind Binding of Isaac, which they're great people, and I liked all their I liked that game. I liked all their games they made except for Tapeworm. I didn't like Tapeworm. I thought that was a pretty horrible game. But I mean, no publisher's like perfect, and all the other ones have been great. So I just don't think that that's like it wouldn't be like that's the company I think would pick this up, sort of thing. Because they sort of gave a name for themselves for being like that type of publisher. But I don't know if either of you played the Binding of Isaac game.
I will say though, side note to that, like the Hello Kitty space, the people that are into that like hard. So it'll probably sell quite a bit because those people are just insane for that.
If they do the same quality they did for Binding of Isaac, I think it'll sell really well because it'll be a good quality game and to the level of gaming that would be expected for that type of thing. So it's not going to be like a gamer game, but it'll be a fun game, probably. Another interesting piece of news. So this is going to be the RPG section. So this would have been better for Peter. But Dune and Star Trek RPG Studios announced they're going to do an original TTRPG for that. And they also have plans for a TV series and video game adaptations of the TTRPG. Now, there's already Star Trek, obviously, video games, and there's already Dune video games and movies, but they both have that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's different. Like what these RPGs are doing that's going to be like, oh, that's from the thing that they just did with the thing. I recognize that. I think that's going to be hard because Dune is Dune and Star Trek is Star Trek. And you have like so many things coming out for Star Trek that are just off the wall, that are fun, like Below Decks. Like, I don't know that anyone's going to be able to. I don't know that it's going to be easy to tie those two things together. I don't know what you guys think on that or even care about a Star Trek RPG or a Dune RPG. I know there's already a Dune RPG. I'm not aware that there's a Star Trek RPG. But
there's been a couple that came out like years ago
for Star Trek.
But yeah, nothing.
Yeah, Star Trek, I don't really care about. Dune might be interesting, but more of a one-off. It's not something I'd really be interested in devoting a lot of time to.
Yeah, I don't really play RPGs that much at all. Like, basically, Peter's our RPG guy. But I don't know if he would be interested per se in this. I can't remember, but I don't know that he's a Star Trek fan. I know that he liked the Dune movies, so maybe there, but I like the Dune movies, but I didn't like the Dune books past the first book.
I wonder if you can remove somebody's heart plug in the RPG.
Maybe. I bet you it's in there somewhere. So that was my news that I had that I wanted to bring up from the last week or so. Do you guys have anything that you guys like to bring up that's newsworthy topics?
I have a couple pieces. Okay. So On GameFound just launched Endeavor Deep Space or Deep Sea.
It's Endeavor Deep Sea. Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
So yeah, it's got a lot of traffic on it already. Let's see, as of recording right now, 143,000 funded right now in 2 hours and 45 minutes. So still a lot of time left on it, but there was a lot of buzz about that because, and we've talked about it quite a few times, Endeavor Age of Sails being a very, very good game. So this is supposed to be the next step beyond that one. And it's been a few years since Age of Sail came out, so it's going to be a very nice sequel to that, I think. Also found some clarity on the Firefly 10th anniversary is supposed to be June, sorry. June is when it's going to be going live, so there's a lot of cool stuff. They are slowly leaking on their GameFound now the extra pieces that they're going to put out, but they have reconfirmed that literally everything that was released before is going to be in this, and if you already have that, you do not have to rebuy anything.
You can just get the new stuff with that, so that's cool.
Yeah, you can get the new stuff and just get the big giant box to keep everything in.
I wonder how much it's going to cost, because that, like, the base game is $100, right?
Yeah, it was.
If it was in circulation, and then each of those expansions, I don't know, and I think Nathan has just about all of them, and I think there's like at least 8 or 10 expansions. And some of them are just ships, like literally just a ship and the board. And then some of them are bulkier. One of them had the doubles the map, right? You get a whole new map with the other one.
Yeah.
And so some of them are big. I don't know if they did the stronghold game thing where like, here's a big expansion, here's a small expansion, here's a big expansion, here's a small expansion, here's a big expansion, here's a board.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I never really got to play that one, but just from hearing the buzz around onto like the different sites and whatnot, people are really, really amped up just because it's been next to impossible to get some of this stuff since it's been out of print for a while. So it coming back up is going to be
Yeah,
And last,
there's a really nice box you can get to contain everything, but I never got it because it's like $800 is like a hand carved box, and it's like, nah.
Too much.
too much.
Well, you could always back this, and then I can watch after your old collection.
No. You can back this one, and if they've made improvements, we can swap.
See, the problem is, I would think about that, but Star Wars Outer Rim exists, and for me, that's good enough. So,
Last piece of news that I have is so right now, at time of recording here, which we're at the end of April, there are a lot of awards being picked out by different sites like BGG and all these whatnot. One game that is sweeping through a lot of the awards right now is the game Blood on the Clock Tower.
yeah,
It has been nominated for so many different awards, and it is front running so many of them. And people are talking already that this may be game of the year material just for the amount of awards that it's actually running for. So Blood on the Clock Tower, if you're not familiar with it, the publisher's Pandemonium Institute, I think they're out of Australia, but it's a social deduction game, but it changes the social deduction where instead of one or two people having roles and powers, everybody does. And to deal with player elimination, just because you're eliminated, you still can converse, talk with everybody, and you still have the ability to vote within the game. So watched a couple playthroughs and whatnot on YouTube, and it looks absolutely amazing for the people that are into social deduction. And even if you're not really into it, this could be the game that could actually like make you would want to play one, just because it does things differently than every other social deduction game. But yeah, I'm absolutely like blown away. Like right now, it's just on BGG. It's nominated for most innovative board game, medium game of the year, thematic board game, party game, best board game artwork and presentation.
That's a good run.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I was watching this one a lot and I was interested in it, but it's really expensive for basically a werewolf style game.
I don't know. It sounds like it has a little bit more than a werewolf, but
it definitely does.
Social deduction is not my thing, so yeah. We'll see. Maybe we'll do a playthrough on our channel at some time in the future. We'll see.
We can get Peter, the RPG master, to be the storyteller.
Yeah, I'll be the trader always. So
yeah, the first day we execute James, no questions
pretty
asked.
much. And I'll be in the whole game like, woo, I'm the ghost.
I told you I was good.
You guys made a mistake, or did you? All right. So, any other news topics, Scott Evan? All right. How about you, Nathan? You got anything?
Well, since we're talking about RPGs a lot, Gloomhaven is coming out with their Gloomhaven RPG Kickstarter relatively soon.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it sounds interesting. I'm not going to back it necessarily because I don't play a lot of RPGs, but it would be definitely interesting to try out.
I don't know. I care. I like the world when I'm playing the game, but I don't like it enough to play an RPG for it. Like, I don't want to learn everything.
Well,
like when you go through things, you go to different areas. I'm like, I'm fighting fairies and bears and stuff, and I'm like, that's great, but I don't care about it enough to learn all the stuff.
Well, the thing that Gloomhaven did really well is it had really interesting classes and characters, and I could see enjoying trying out the different classes. The world itself was all right, but I think a lot of focus was on making those characters interesting.
I think for some people this will be amazing. I think it'll be like the Avatar one where they'll have tons and tons of backers, but hardly anyone plays it.
Yeah, my biggest complaint with D&D was the characters seem so generic.
Well, I mean,
you have to do a lot of work to make.
I don't normally, defend D&D, but D&D sort of made all that stuff generic. It's just they just kept going with it and being non-innovative for their entire run. They're like, we're just gonna do this, so they made all that stuff generic.
So I think Gloomhaven RPG is going to be such a niche group to play it, because depending on the play style that you are, you could just play the board game and get most of that out of the way.
Well,
But
yeah,
I mean, if you want that little extra like interactivity, then you'd want to play the RPG. Like I think it's just such a small segment. It just feels weird that they're making an RPG out of it. I don't know. That's just.
I think they'll do sales. I mean, like Avatar, I know at least a dozen people, not including myself, which I did also back it, get the Avatar Kickstarter, and 0 of them are playing it, and all those other people are heavy RPG players. So
That is true. That I know somebody that did it, backed it, and then like, oh, there's Target exclusive, I have to get it, and yeah, that's as far as it.
Yeah. I didn't even bother with the Target exclusive. Now, if I see the Target exclusive, because Target's amazing for this stuff, go for clearance. I'll probably pick it up for a couple bucks. But yeah, no. So that was our news topics. And now we're going to move on to our main topic, which is anthropomorphic animals in board games. So, I don't know if that's... we'll just start off with your general feelings of it. If I could... as long as it's not disturbing, I don't care. I really like the sort of woodland creature sort of thing. Those are cool. Like Everdale. But then I don't like I hate the ones in Libertalia, Winds of the Galecrest. I think those are awful. Awful, awful. And then I have other games where they're just disturbing more than actually like aesthetically pleasing. But that's my general thoughts on that. What's your thoughts on that, Evan?
Well, I think before we go into that, just should clarify for some people who might not know what the word anthropomorphic means. It's basically giving animals human-like characteristics, whether that's being physical or behavioral, personality, or basically having mice use tools and going through dungeons and kind of things, that kind of concept.
So it doesn't bother me really with the art for it. I can see the artistic choice in some of the games, because when I look over at all my games, I can see, repeats of, people. But when I'm scanning across that, there are 1 or 2 titles that I have over there that have anthropomorphic, art on it, and it kind of sticks out a little bit more just because it's a little bit different. Almost always it doesn't really add or subtract from the game itself, with one exception, and that's root, because the game is really designed around the different factions that you can play as, cats and mole people and whatnot. And since those factions are really built around those animals, that really drives the gameplay in that. But like one example that I thought of right off the top of my head, 5-minute mystery. So it's a 5-minute dungeon kind of style game that they put anthropomorphic animals into it. Doesn't change the gameplay at all. It's just an art style.
And most of the time that's it. Everdale is the same way. It really doesn't matter.
Indirectly, I mean,
they're just different player pieces. There's no advantage to being anything in Everdale. At least that I know of. There's no asymmetric power.
No, but the cards itself, the characters have something somewhat roughly tied to their whatever type of animal they are, but it's loose. Raccoon Tycoon is probably a better example of a game that's like, it didn't need to be animals.
No, it has to be. Raccoons are always tycoons. Like, what are you getting at?
I thought they were trash pandas.
I think the only reason why it's
with ties, when they have ties, they're tycoons.
Yeah. I think the only reason why they have animals in that is so they can have the naming title.
Now, one good use of anthropomorphic too is creature comforts. So you're playing as creatures and you're spending the different seasons collecting your goods so you can prepare yourself for winter. So like you have the theme based around the animals, and then it just only makes sense that that's exactly what you're going to be doing, you know. So you couldn't put like as good looking as I am, you couldn't put my picture into that game and have it work. It would still sell a lot of copies just because. But
I was just looking around. I hardly have any games like that. Like 90% of all the games I have are just people.
There's quite a few, and there is a different trend with anthropomorphic games.
This is gonna have to be the keyword today. Every time someone says it, we'll be like, "Yeah!"
Did you pronounce it right? Yay!
Not even if not.
But the trend seems to be it's used to like make part of the game more palatable. So it's often used to like for heavy take that games to make them not seem a little more lighthearted. Or in the example of Root, you got pretty aggressive war game. Yep. That they've tried to make it more brought to a broader audience by having it cutesy and having it.
But also, no, that game's hard. I don't even.
It's a hard.
That's ridiculous game.
It's a hard game to master.
Ridiculous.
But it's also very misleading when you do that, and people. Bunny Kingdom, I think, suffered from it. It's a really interesting, basically a math game. It's a lot of
Bunny Kingdom has nothing to do with kingdoms or bunnies or war.
No, but it looked so cutesy. People thought it was a kid's game, then they get it. It's like, what the heck? This is not what I tried to buy.
It's a straight up abstract. Yeah.
Yep. It's a good game, but it's looks like a kid's game, and it's not.
Oh, well, I'm going to throw one at you, James, that I know you have. So anthropomorphic. Tell me how you feel that it fits with this with the game and the gameplay. And I know you love this game too. Flamecraft.
Are they though? They're like chibi dragons.
It's an anthropomorphic dragon.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's under BGG's anthropomorphic animals.
And BGG, we always trust. I'll go with it. I think it's like a little borderline because it's like they're not human enough to me think that they're human. They're more like chibi dragons. But yeah, I do love that game. I think that type of art in that game really makes that game because it's like cutesy. So I could see your point with that. I'm trying to think of the name of the main game, but I really like Tail Feathers. And then they had a
Mice and Mystics.
Mice and Mystics, a dungeon crawler. I actually like that whole anthropomorphic mice thing. I'm trying to think of the main story series that had that. Redwall, yeah. I used to read those books to my daughters all the time, all the Redwall books. There's so many of them.
So many. I'll throw one to you, Nathan, too. And I know you have it, and I'm pretty sure you really enjoyed it. Tidal Blades.
Yeah, that was on my list to talk about. That's definitely a game that's like, unless you really get into the extra content, like the book and the art content, and you can almost entirely miss the fact that it's anthropomorphic. I mean, it's really heavy on the art, but it's in the gameplay, it's irrelevant. But I have a whole book, a whole story that goes in the whole lore of it that I've never read and probably never will.
And the last one I was going to throw just to both of you guys, because you guys played it a lot pre me joining the channel, and that was Here to Slay.
Yeah. I'm not particularly drawn to the art on that game at all. So it's a fun game, but like I know it's actually by the same people that did this. And I like this art a little better for some reason. Here to Slay is a fun game. Don't get me wrong, I like the game itself. And a lot of people love the art for that one, and just I'm not one of them. So it's not like I won't play it because of it. It's like
Yeah, Peter would be the one that seemed to enjoy that more. And it's I played it once with him and it was all right, but it's
definitely a light game to play with. Like I think it's good with teens and under just to play.
And it's definitely a take that game, which
it's 100%. Yeah.
I don't mind occasionally, but it's not something I go out of my way to play that kind of game.
Yeah. I don't have a whole lot.
Yeah, I mean, and then our second point of the topic really was shifting it into, since anthropomorphic animals is, definitely a artistic choice, and we're talking about the games that use it to draw people in or part of the game. But, the games that really focus on just animals themselves into the games. And one good one that I kind of really enjoyed that really uses that is Isle of Cats. Yeah. So polynomial style game where you're collecting cats and to rescue them from this island that is going to destruct itself basically. And cats being cats are sprawled out, so you have to Tetris them into your ship.
Yeah. And like cats do.
Oh, absolutely. I've fought with my cat many a times because she is in weird positions and I need to move things around her. But having cats into that game is 100% a great fit. Is a great implementation of using an animal into a game.
Yeah, that's one game I really need to play because I love the polynomial style games like that. So I think I would love that. So
well, and they did it in such a smart way too, because there's two modes into the game. There's the family mode and then the regular mode.
Yeah.
The family mode just teaches you enough of the basics that really anybody can play the game. And then when you're ready to go to that next step, you just add a couple more rules and then you're into it. And like, I wish some games would take that approach with their things to teach their game.
Yeah.
Well, and we talked in Anthropomorphic, we talked about how it's often used to kind of makes part of the game more palatable. I think with animal games, it's often the point is to make the social aspects of the game more palatable. So often these animal games are making a social point or making some sort of social commentary, and they're trying not to make that too heavy, so it helps to have the animals. The one you mentioned is a good example. Arc Nova, I mean, the whole thing is about preservation and,
it's about coffee, actually.
Zoos being responsible as a zoo, making sure you're not just caging the animals, you're treating them well, and you're actually using the money from the zoo to fund preservation.
Yeah.
Or you could be like me playing that game and just suck at all of that.
I have yet to play the game and I have it over there and it keeps staring at me.
And you got games like Wingspan that are actually just seem to be trying to teach you something, but they want to make it fun, which is great, I think.
Yeah.
Just so much you can learn with Wingspan just passively playing the game. It's like it's not really making you learn it to be able to play the game. It's just something, happen to notice this interesting fact that it mentions on the
you have to get the app with it so that you can make all the bird sounds.
My problem is listening to the bird sounds. I'd be like, they were different. How?
Oh no. Yeah.
You might need a hearing aid if you can't tell the difference.
What?
Exactly. All right.
Oh man.
Does anyone have any more comments on Anthropomorphic? Games. Are we ready to get into Nathan's silly game?
Sure.
All right, let's do this silly game that Nathan has.
Well, mine's more a stupid quiz. It'll be an easy quiz.
Okay. It's
hopefully.
It's 4.
Me. The answer is me.
Eric M. Lang. Ah, first match on.
Somebody ring the bell. There it was.
I don't even know what the context for that was.
4.
Did we win?
Yes.
All right.
We won
Have a
all
good
the
night.
points. All the points.
Okay.
But I got 1 shiny point, so I win more.
This completely went off the rails.
All right, Nathan, what we got going here?
Okay, mine's pretty simple. I just got a short list of mythological creatures that are
4.
half man, half something else.
Oh dear.
And I'm gonna kind of tell you what it is, and you have to hopefully name it.
4.
Name the animal or
Yeah.
name the creature?
Name the creature.
Okay.
Oh.
So we'll start out super easy with Evan.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah, I see how
Don't
this
worry.
is.
I have a hard one for you, so don't worry. Okay. One of the most famous mythical creatures is a Greek creature, half man, half horse, basically a horse body and the upper half of a man.
It would be a centaur.
Yeah. So super easy. Okay. James.
All right. Hippogriff. Go ahead.
That may or may not be in the list. Okay, so half woman, half snake.
Oh, Gorgon.
No. Because that's not half, that's only the hair.
No, she's half snake too.
Can I steal?
Go ahead and steal.
It's a Medusa.
No, Medusa's the person who is a Gorgon.
Yeah. So the only thing I could think is a Naga.
Which is a good guess, but I should have specified this is Greek. Well, you're technically right, but that's not a Greek myth.
Okay. So what is it?
The Greek one is Echidna. You never would have got that.
Are
No
you
points because of a
kidding me?
technicality.
But I will give you a point for Gorgon just because it's going to be on my list later, and I don't need to talk about it now.
All right.
And you didn't say Medusa, so so Evan, then we have a bird with the head of a woman.
A sphinx?
No, that's a lion with the head of a man, I think.
That is correct.
Bird with a head of a woman. That seems Egyptian.
No, these I believe are all Greek and Roman. Yeah.
Oh, is that a harpy?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
I believe that's 2-1.
It's like a vulture with the head of a woman, I think, or something close to that.
Oh, okay. Another relatively hard one for Evan. This
What,
is
gets all the hard ones now. Got one easy one. Here's a softball, but now here comes a fastball with spikes
Here
on
comes
it.
the pain.
so hybrid between a plant and a human.
Plant and a human. Vintra.
Tends to scream.
Oh, okay. I know what that is.
A plant and a human?
Think Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm.
Mandrake?
Yes. So we're 2-2. This one's tricky. Actually, no, it's not. The next one, that's a different one. I'm thinking of this one's pretty easy. So this is for James. Head and upper body of a human woman and lower half of a fish.
Mermaid.
Yep. That's too easy.
Just lob it over the plate for Dave.
Okay, I'll give you an easy one in return. Lower half of a human, upper half of a bull.
Minotaur?
Yep. So you're still tied. Okay, this one we have lower half of a goat or fawn upper half of a man or human.
Oh, that's the pan thing. Oh, what the heck is that guy again?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I only have a couple seconds left, and I don't know that I can remember. Stry.
Not quite.
All right, go
Evan?
ahead.
Satyr.
Satyr. Okay, I was pretty close.
So Evan's one in lead. Well, actually, we'll give this. Let Evan try to guess this one. I don't think you'll get it.
Is. Oh, and you're like, and I don't think you're smart enough.
Because, okay, upper body of a human woman, legs and tail of a bird. This is a Greek and Roman. Yeah, they're all Greek and Roman.
I don't know if I know what that one is.
Whoop-de-doo.
Known for their voices.
Oh, okay. I know what it is.
Evan, you give up? James, what
Sirens.
is it? Sirens. Yes, I didn't realize it was actually a bird until I looked it up.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was a bird.
I kept thinking 4 legs, but no, they only have 2 legs of a bird.
Well, that was the stupid quiz.
Okay, so who won?
Let's just say James.
He lost count. He did. He lost count.
I demand a recount.
Well, the viewers can count it for me and let me know.
I should, when I edit this, I should have like a little tracker on the bottom for. I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll know who really won. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode. We had a lot of fun doing it, and hope to see you guys next time.